Welcome to the Relic.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's all new episode of the Rap Lab podcast. It's everybody's favorite controversial candy man, the ALFRE to the D.
To G or not to G is the question. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what I do. Always keeping it true. It's the Q.
And y'all know who I be. It's your boy, the one and only T.O. Y'all always know the question I'm always going to remain forever. What's the dealio?
And ladies and gentlemen, the dealio today is a continuation of last week. Last week, we did Kool Moe D's 90's rapper report card. Now we're gonna stay on the topic of the hating ass Kool Moe D, even though
All right. Don't you think you're being a little apprehensive there, Candyman?
I mean, listen, if we really want to talk about, grades and who's good and who's not good, I mean, all we got to do is play Jack the Ripper and Kool Moe D.
I'm clarifying for you that he's not judging it from a fan perspective only. He's also judging it from a rapper perspective.
Yeah, but
there's a difference.
Who makes him an expert?
It's all opinionated. It has nothing to do with being an expert. There's a difference. He's not saying this is a fact. This is all going based off his opinion and his criteria. He has every right to do that, especially being one of the pioneers.
Yeah, and I'm gonna discuss his report card with my opinion.
You can.
And a hater.
You can discuss it all you like, but to jump out the project window like you always do.
No, excuse you. Did you have to get him started?
Let Kool Moe D have his criteria. He has every right to do it, especially being somebody that helped architect and start this culture. Show some respect.
Well, we did the 90's report card last week. Now we're doing the 80's. I have to ask though, Mr. QG, since you were the one who brought this to our attention, when was the 80's report card discovered or written?
According to the reports, he kind of did this whole thing around the same time. Like he separated it. He did the 80's first and then he did the 90's. So he kind of went double mode, really. Like he just had two sheets and he said, you know what? I'm just going to rate these guys, break it down. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we wanted to do something like that, but not with the grades per se. We wanted to do something with, am I correct?
Yeah, yes, you are correct, sir.
Right. So, I mean, he kind of had this thing done already, but it just lingered back on social media because back when he did it, obviously there was no social media. So he kind of did this in the same time, 1999. It just surfaced now.
All right, so he made this in 1999. This is very interesting. All right, so we're going to get into it. We have the report card. We're going to do it similar to last week. We may not touch on every name, but we're going to touch on the big names. So in this report card, the names graded. He has himself, obviously, which is biased. Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, L Cool J, which we're going to touch on. Tila Rock, Rakim, KRS-One, Spoonie G, MC Shan, Dougie Fresh, Marquis, who was labeled Bismarck, Curtis Blow, Just Ice, Run DMC, the Fat Boys, Houdini, the Beastie Boys, UTFO, Heavy D and the Boys, the Boogie Boys, Ultramagnetic MCs, Public Enemy, Stetson Sonic, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So, out with the highest, obviously. Gave himself the highest grade. He was tied with Melly Mel at 95 for an A+. He gave himself 10 for vocabulary, 10 for articulation, 10 for creativity, 10 for originality, 9 for versatility, 10 for voice, 8 for stage presence, 10 to sticking for themes, and 10 for innovating rhythms. 95 overall grade for an A+. Before I get to this bullshit, QG, you want to start us off?
Sure, I would love to start us off. Now, if it were me, and if I were doing this, I would have somebody from my peer group grade me. Like just segue in, okay, grade me on where I'm at. If I was Kool Mo D, I would have asked Melly Mel or Kaz or one of those guys from my peer group, because I need to point out Kool Mo D has been an active rapper from 1978. When we talk about the pillars of rap, there's him, Kaz, Mel, Spoonie G, and the other members of the Treacherous Three, like Special K and Sunshine and them. So they are the first wave. Obviously, the wave after them is the Kanes, the LLs, the G-Raps, the Rakims. I even would have asked them to grade me if I was them from the second class, because these are the rappers that they looked up to. If you ask Kane and Rakim and those guys who were your influences, they will tell you it was the Kool Mo D's and the Casses and the Melly Mels. Now, when we break this down, vocabulary, I could go with the 10. I can go with that. Kool Mo D has a very good vocabulary. He used a lot of words that weren't used around at the time. It wasn't simple. Articulation, his voice is very good. Creativity, I think he went a little too high on there. Yeah, I mean, Wild Wild West and Go See the Doctor, he was good at telling stories. He has,
I got to see the
his
doctor.
records. Right. Originality, you can say that. I mean, if you look at him, look at the outfits that he wore. It was different. He had on the big shades. Don't say star shades, Katie, man. He had those hats. He brought his own style. Versatility, he could talk about pretty much everything. He can make different type of concept records. The voice is very powerful. Yes, the records, obviously after a while, the game changed. And, his relevancy wasn't there anymore with that second wave that was coming in, in the 80s. The stage presence, he's a good performer. I want to check out Train performance of How You Like Me Now, where he was dancing and he had the dancers. Stage themes, yeah, he pretty much did that. Innovative rhythms, yeah, he's the forefather of a style that many people after him copied. So I mean, he gave himself an A plus. I would give him, as a fan, I would give him, a strong letter grade, either an A or a. I'm not gonna say a B, because I'm just going based off his technique and his skills. So I got him up there. He deserves an A in my book. I think his grades are very good. As biased as they may be, he's judging himself. But as a fan and based on what I know, yeah, I could see he's in the A group, guys.
To me, he definitely belongs in the A group. But creativity, I may put that a 9, possibly. Originality, I do agree with 10. He was different, and he's one of the, like you said, the earlier cats out in the hip hop industry. So at that time, he was rocking different outfits. It was like a concept, a theme to his fashion as well. Versatility, 9, yeah, that's true. He has a high versatility. Voice, I mean, if you don't recognize the Mo D voice, then I don't know what to tell you. Records and stage presence, like you touched on in QG, the second class wave, the relevancy was not there much anymore. And like I guess the last time you had that relevancy was unfortunately the battle with LL Cool J. And vocabulary, it could be a 9 or a 10. That's debatable. He does have a strong vocabulary. And even around then, that's when, again, when you go in the 80s, rap was fun but simple. As long as you knew how to put the words together or the lyrics together, and like what we're missing today, storytelling. So Kool Mo D had a lot of stories to tell. Sticking to themes, yeah, he does stick to themes. That you don't play about that. And innovative rhythms. Yeah, it's debatable between a 10 or a 9, but I wouldn't put him an A plus, but he definitely deserves an A.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
I'm guessing it's my turn to.
Wait, hold on. We have this special bulletin. Alfred, the Candyman for the Rat Lab podcast, is about to go on a rant. Yes, fans, you have not seen this in a long time. Now, back to your program.
All right, so now, knowledge. The man wrote this report card in 1999, right? So, in 99 and put them on a different report card than the 90s guys, I have to take in everything to account from the 80s up until 1999, right? So here we go. A thought. What, 91, 92? You want to talk about getting an A plus, right? Gave himself an A plus. Such as Wild West and Go See the Doctor and Blow and How You Like Me Now and Do You Know What Time It Is and Money and Props. Giving this man his props outside of the 80s. I mean, LL Cool J, his props. Sent that man with his Star Trek shades on to obscurity. Mod. Now, who's laughing? What's so funny?
You in them Star Trek
funny.
shades.
You know why you're funny? Because you're just judging it off the battle with LL Cool J, and you're not looking at the bigger picture. That's the problem. You see,
I am looking at the bigger picture.
No, you're not. You're just going off based off LL winning the battle as far as the mainstream and the commercial success of Mama Said Knock You Out. When you listen to the diss track of Kool Moe Dee, he's directly going at LL Cool J with his technique and style. Now, even though we're ushering into the 90s, the game has changed. Yes, LL has bigger records, but when you look at the battle itself, Kool Moe Dee was spitting. Kool Moe Dee was talking. Kool Moe Dee was going directly at L. L only mentioned Moe Dee's name on Mr. Smith, on that album, on the I Shot You song, Crush Hammer, Ice-T, and Moe Dee's Girl. Up to that point, he didn't even mention his name. So there's a difference here.
But we knew who he was talking about on Jack the Ripper. We knew who he was talking about on To the Break of Dawn.
There's a difference as far as that when it comes to directly going at somebody. Yeah, now, when you judge, when you judge Moe Dee's diss tracks, Moe Dee was battling. Now, funny enough, in the top 50 book, Moe Dee puts himself as number 5, and he says his biggest weakness was he was too invulnerable. He never showed his weakness. That's exactly what he felt that he didn't transition into a more personal, vulnerable space. And I could get that vibe from Moe Dee. Moe Dee was a very reserved guy. So the only mistake he made was grading himself on the report card, I feel. But all that stuff about the Star Trek shades and nobody, man, come on.
Well, and was never a 80s. He was never a top rapper. Like when you think
in the 80s.
I don't know, man. He was making waves.
I don't know about that, Candy Man.
He was kind of making waves in the 80s.
Granted, that second wave that came out started to take over, but prior to that, he was still a relevant MC.
Yeah, even with the Treacherous 3.
When you say 80s rap, I don't think of Kool Moe Dee first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or 20th.
And that's
you tell me 80s rap, my mind shifts to NWA, Run DMC, Public Enemy, the Beastie Boys, Eric.
But that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem because from 1980 to 1980 to 1987, I want to say Moe Dee was still relevant because when he came out with Knowledge is King in 89, that's when things were different because the class of 88 took over.
Yep.
But for a 7-year stretch, Moe Dee was relevant.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like
what's up?
I just feel like Kool Moe Dee is a hater.
You can. I mean, again, he's judging it from a pioneer hip hop perspective. Like I told you earlier, prior to when the show started, if you ask Kane, G-Rap, Rakim, LL, any of those guys from that class, KRS, they will tell you that Mo D was an influence.
Speaking of which, why is Big Daddy Kane not on the report card?
I have no idea why Kane is not on the report card. That is a very excellent question.
Neither is Kool G Rap.
That's a very excellent question.
Wait, did he put that on the 90s?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
He only put people that he knows.
He only put them what?
I feel that he knows he can beat.
I don't agree with that.
But speaking of people who got beat, because Mo D got beat, let's talk about the man that did the beating. All right. So he's on this report card. Got 5 points lower, which I disagree with. So LL Cool J, vocabulary, articulation, 9 for creativity. Now when I saw this category, Lord, LL Cool J a 6 for originality. A 6?
There's a reason why he did that.
6?
There's a reason why he did. Yes. Now 6 is very low. 6 is very low. I don't agree with the 6. But do you understand where LL got his look from and his style from?
Before you tell the people, let me finish the grades, and we'll spin back to that.
Sure.
10 for versatility, 9 for voice, 8 for the records. I don't understand neither. No, he gave him 9.
He gave him a 9.
He gave him a 9. 10 for stage presence, 9 for sticking to themes, and 8 for innovating rhythms. Overall grade of 90 for an A. But where did ladies love Cool James get his look from, QG?
T-La Rock, MC Shan, those guys.
I mean,
from the hats to the outfits, and at the same time, the rhyme style. Even Rev Run was an influence, and that was from the beginning at the time. But as he got older and as he started to get into the records, that's when he started to develop. It's kind of like when Michael Jackson first came out. Everybody knows he got his influence from doing James Brown steps, but as he got older, he developed his own steps.
T.O., your opinion. Well, first off, before we get to T.O., you agree with a 90, or you think he should be higher? And especially because we know how you feel about LL Cool J.
I mean, judging from the card, vocabulary, absolutely 10, absolutely. To the point where Run DMC, those guys didn't even want to do a record with L because they were going to get out-rapped. They said, the dictionary rap? We can't do a song with him. That's what they said. Yo, he even wrote them a song. That's crazy it was. The 6 I don't like.
Wait, they did end up working together at some point, no?
Not on a song. I mean, if you want to count the Dr. Pepper commercial, you can count that if you want. But we never got a record.
Right.
I didn't like that. I said, oh man, we should have had that. Now,
and they're not too far from
the 8. Yeah, you got Hollis, you got Farmers Boulevard, it was always respect. Innovating rhythms, an 8, I could kind of see that. But LL has massive influence on people and how they rhyme. I would have bumped that up to a 9 if you asked me. That 6 I didn't agree with.
I was going to talk to us about the 6.
Originality, I get it based on Kool Mo D's perspective as far as LL when he first came out and his look. But then later on, he started to develop his own. And he said, and he has him ranked number 7 in the top 50, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, number 7. He says LL's weakness is his battle. He has absolutely said some of the weakest rhymes in battle. Part of the reason for that is he's one of the most arrogant MCs ever, and he's much more comfortable talking about himself. He's too busy on himself to focus on anybody else. Do you guys agree with that as far as the weakness?
The hell he got weak battle rhymes and he beat you?
That no, but you're looking at it. You're looking at it wrong based on what we said. The only person that LL actually went at directly as far as direct attack was Cannabis.
Yeah,
That
but
was different.
he served Hammer and he served Ice T too.
He didn't really mention their names.
You got to understand something. You have to judge it from a direct confrontation.
Yeah,
And this is Modine judging it. This is from Modi's criteria. This is Modi who battled on stage. LL has never did that. So there's a difference. I'm not disagreeing with your standpoint as far as LL being the victor, but you have to look at it from a different way compared to battling somebody. What?
Guy who he battled on stage. Kool Modi battled Busy B Starsky on stage, and Busy B wasn't even no battle rapper. So come on.
But that's not the only battle Modi had. That's not the battle Modi had. That's not the battle Modi had. Modi has plenty of other battles that were actually recorded on record. Just because Busy B was the most famous one, that wasn't the only. But do you know how fearful people were of battling Modi when they went on? And Mac, you can help me with this. Do you remember when the Treacherous Three was on stage with Run DMC?
Run DMC, yep.
Do you know prior to that, and Daryl and the rest of them was like, look, Modi, we know, they're hyping this up, and that's exactly how they sold it. But Rev Run of them was like, no, we're not battling you. We are not battling. We're just here and stay and say some raps. And that's exactly how they did it because they were in fear of battling Modi.
I mean, say what you want about the whole LL Cool J victory, but Modi is no slouch, man. Modi is here for blood, too.
LL won because he had the better records.
Yep.
Same as how you say Nelly defeated KRS-One. When it came to the battle, lyrically, KRS was the victor, but which records got played more?
Not even about that. If KRS-One would have never told people not to buy Nelly's record, then he would have won. But
I'm judging off the battle diss tracks.
Yep.
There's a difference. This is the quintessential blueprint for that type of battle. So how am I going to win? I can't out-rap you, but I'm going to make a record that is so big that the opposition ain't going to play yours.
And I understand where Modi is coming with that point of the weakness. And I mean, that's how LL, tries to bait you to win.
It's smart.
It's a smart technique, smart strategy. I mean, LL is not a slouch either in battle rap.
No, not at all.
He just has a different way of trying to. He just has his own strategy of trying to defeat you.
Exactly. But over A, absolutely. A or A plus. No question.
I would have bumped Originality. I understand where Kool Modi was coming from, but I might give him a 7 just to bump it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Voice though?
Yeah, T.O., how you feel? Do you agree with this grade?
I've notched it up to like a 91 or 92. But he deserves to be an A.
So you think that Kool Modi is rightfully scored higher than LL Cool J?
No, Modi should be a little bit lower too.
Based on the resume, no, I agree. Based on the resume, LL should be high. And longevity for sure.
Because I'm damn sure he keeping Modi on 95. Like I say, he deserves to be an A.
Especially between the two of them, LL Cool J has more hits than Kool Modi too.
There's a reason why Modi, Melly Mel, and Kaz all have A pluses because, like I told you, those guys are the pillars of rap. Do you know who's number 1 in the top 50 of Modi's book?
Who, Melly Mel?
Yes.
Figures.
And this book came out in 2003. There's a reason why he did that.
I mean, Melly Mel, that is one of the biggest pioneers of hip-hop. Say what you want to say.
That's why he scored them so high. That's exactly why he did that.
It wouldn't be a Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 without Melly Mel, in my opinion.
And it's all based off one rhyme. The message.
I can't take the smell. Oh man, the way he was talking on that record makes me laugh. It was just their tone, but a powerful record.
So that's all I'm telling you, Candy man. He's judging it based off that.
Now, no disrespect to Melly Mel or no disrespect to Kumo D. I'll put him lower, but even I will keep Melly Mel in that specific grade.
Well, I feel like LL should be rated higher than Kumo D. I don't give a damn who's a pioneer or who's a pillar of rap.
But you know the thing is about this, like L Cool J, I felt like he probably would have got a higher grade if this was a 90s report card. Because that's where he started to elevate.
Do you feel
it was a bit of an evolution when it came to around the 90s, especially when Baba Said Knock You Out came back. Oh, I'm sorry, came out.
See, but he made
that
this
came out right?
report card in '99, so I'm taking into account everything up until then.
If this was done in '99, I could see where you're going.
I mean, L is still in that '80s class.
Yeah,
that's why he put him there.
I guess you're judging it from 1980 to '89, like whatever happened then.
Right.
I think that he made this list and this is just me purely speculating. But he made this list in '99, and he wanted to rank all these guys between the '80s and '90s, and he just broke it up into two categories: he did one for the '80s and one for the '90s. Just so happens that a guy like LL, I think he put LL in the '80s group because his solo career started in the '80s, and he put Ice Cube in the '90s group because Ice Cube didn't have a solo career till '90. But that's just my speculation.
No, I agree with that. That sounds right. And what you mean you don't give a damn who's the pioneer? Yes, you do.
I don't give a damn who's a pioneer. If the man beat you,
you should. You're saying he beat him based off records. I need you to understand Modi's perspective. There's a difference.
So MC Shan don't deserve to be a pioneer?
MC Shan is on this report card.
Oh, we'll get to MC Shan, all right.
Oh no, no.
You see how this works? You see
how does this work?
I mean, what did he say at the beginning of the show? Their favorite controversial. This man is always controversial.
Wait, and it's biased controversial because if you don't like him, you're just gonna go off.
Especially what he said about Bat. You saw how he
notice
pissed off about Bat.
Exactly. And you notice it has nothing to do with skill. I don't give a damn about a pioneer. Your biasness and your petulance is clouding your judgment.
Well, if we may continue.
Yeah. Let's continue the indignation. Who's next?
Indignation. So
yes,
here was a guy who got scored an A, but I think he should have been given an A+. Guy, the teacher, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Now this was confusing. KRS-One, he gave KRS-One a 7 for vocabulary. A 7?
You know why?
I mean, go ahead.
If you look at why he probably gave, I think what messed it up was, I don't know what, I didn't read the book yet, QG, so pardon me.
I got you. I can help you with that.
But I don't know if KRS-One had a 7 because of the his roots, since he's Jamaican, because he would throw that accent in there sometimes on the songs. So I don't know if that's
nothing
where
to do with his vocabulary.
I can help you with that.
Wait, let's get through the grades. Let's get through the grades.
Go ahead.
He gets a 9 for articulation, creativity, and originality. He got a 10 for versatility, a 9 for voice, a 9 for records, a 9 for stage presence, a 10 for sticking to themes, a 9 for innovating rhythms. He got a 90 and an A.
Now, vocabulary, by then, he should have got at least a 9. Because I don't know how the hell KRS-One gets a 7 in anything. But I'm just trying to go what Kumo D saw in this. Because I think a 7
I can help you with that. Do you know what? His strength, he says it's his potency, his delivery, his flow, his voice, and his cadence, and his messages come from a place of power. He says his weaknesses are the women. With all of the jewels he dropped, he never geared songs to the ladies or focused on male-female relations from a feminine point of view. He says that was KRS's weakness.
Interesting.
So all right, so he didn't focus on that in his subject matter, but I mean, some guys don't make conscious songs, and some guys don't make gangster songs. Like, not everybody can tackle everything.
And we could get to the vocabulary. In the book, he gave him a 90 for the vocabulary. He says he doesn't hit you in the head with the vocabulary. He sprinkles it in and uses it in strategic places. I think what he's saying, he's not giving you back to back to back to back strong vocab, but he'll put a word here and then he'll put a word here. It's not like Kool G Rap will constantly give you these words. He'll drop a word here and then he'll go on, and then he'll drop another one here and go on. It's not back to back to back. I think that's what he's talking about.
I still would give him at least a 9 around that time.
I mean, I would bump it up. I mean, I would give him an 8 or 9 for that.
Yeah, I think he deserves a 9 for vocabulary. 7, I don't know about that. He gave a lot of people 7s for vocabulary. God damn.
I mean, you think because a lot of you think a lot of it because it was. I think because it was also direct. KRS-One didn't sugarcoat what he was talking about. He didn't give you punchlines and metaphors. He just gave direct. I think that's probably why. Because when you look at some of his rhymes, look at it here. You can call a man a bum. Would discuss on your morning run because he lives outside on the street. You don't notice, but you fail to realize that the one you so despise reflects yourself because every black man is homeless. You can take your Alka-Seltzer while you talk about shelter. You see how it works? It's simple. There's certain rhymes like that. I think because he's the teacher and he's the educator and he's the knowledge, we expect the vocab to be looked at higher. I think.
Yeah, but see, I disagree with the 7 for vocabulary because KRS-One is one of the more. I feel like the words he chooses to use are unusual choices in a lot of his rhymes. I would have given.
Can you give examples? Can you give examples of that to back up that argument?
Now you know I'm not good at quoting people.
But that's the problem because when you look back at it, he's also very vulgar.
Like not vulgar how? Other than sex and violence.
I'm not going with the choices of obscenity. I'm going with the choices of streets. Like when he says niggas and when he goes in with stuff like that. So intricate rhyme, big words. No, I think because he's very direct, and I message is the reason why you guys want to give him an 8 or a 9. I wouldn't give him a 7 for vocabulary. No. I would give him an 8 or a 9, but I could see why Modi is giving him that 7.
Because he's a hater.
No, it's got nothing to do with being a hater. Like I just told you, there's certain rhymes that are just simple. Like when you look at a record, okay, what is his most vocabulary record based on your knowledge?
Candyman.
Not your favorite. I'm going with what backs up your argument why he should be ranked higher in vocabulary. And T.O., you could chime in too if you got a record.
I mean, I think.
I got a question. When did seven DJs come out?
DJs was in 90.
Oh.
It takes 7 DJs just to make a sound. I love that song. But if I had to pick his most vocabulary laden record, I would
But even with Boogie Down production with Scott LaRock was there, KRS didn't, he had a vocabulary, but it wasn't that strong.
Lyrics.
Right.
Off the Entertainment album.
But you see, that's the thing. How are we judging vocabulary? Is it the words you choose, or is how you choose to use them?
No.
Because he's very direct. Like, look at the song 9mm Go Bang. He's just telling you he's going to shoot you with the 9mm.
Yep.
But you know that was a whole ploy, because he even said it when they made Criminal Minded. They did a gangster rap album because it would get people's attention.
It's got nothing to do with it being gangster, because the first song on that is poetry. The first song on that album is poetry. I'm using 9mm Go Bang as an example because it's direct. 9mm Go Bang compared to I Gave You Power. There's a difference.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just saying I understand why he did that.
I still think KRS-One should have a 95.
Is there anything else you would bump up? I mean, you said you'd bump up vocab. I mean, he got 9s and 10s across the board after that.
I would bump vocabulary now that I think of it to an 8, but I don't 7.
I would give him an 8 for vocab.
Because around then, KRS-One was not the most, most skilled worded type artist. He was, but I felt like when the 90s came, it's like the 90s with vocabulary maybe was his prime.
But you see the problem with that? Because if you're judging based on vocab, look what he gave Rakim.
Yeah, I got a problem with that.
He gave him an
8. And Kubo D should get an F for spelling his name wrong.
I mean,
that's not Rakim. That's Rakim.
The way he's judging vocabulary is very, very interesting, and I feel he's only judging it from a rapper's perspective.
You know what I would bump up on KRS-One's grade?
What's that?
Originality. I would have gave him a 10.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a debatable 10 right there, because I mean, who raps like KRS? I never saw that style from anyone but KRS.
In terms of originality, nobody sounds like KRS-One. I think he was one of the first to incorporate reggae into his raps.
Yep.
Very true.
And then what rapper do you know telling us not to eat meat?
At that time, there weren't that many.
And then also, look at the songs he's making. He's talking about Margaret Thatcher and South Africa and all this, that, and the third. He's making records with subject matter that hardly anybody else was talking about. To the point that they called him the teacher because he was so preachy, in fact, that other people in the media said, "Oh, we don't want to listen to KRS-One because we don't want to be preached to. He's always trying to educate." Nobody else was like that. They him a knock for originality because Criminal Minded was quote unquote against the rap album at the time, but he has to get a 10 from me.
I mean, conscious rap was introduced from KRS, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know. But speaking of KRS-One, we have to transition this conversation to the man that KRS-One beat.
He did that on purpose. You see how he did it? You see how he did that?
He just don't learn.
He just has to add that in there.
Let me say the KRS one way. You don't learn.
He just had to throw that in there just to throw salt on MC Shan. I don't understand it.
You still not invited to Queensbridge, by the way.
It's disgusting.
Good friend of the show, somebody who we really try to keep relevant on here. You know, you love to hear.
Yo, you a jackass, man.
You are. He's acting like the man doesn't have a YouTube channel. How he wasn't in the Roxanne Shante biopic. Like you acting like Shan is just some damn bum.
Story. Again and again.
You better show some respect before Shan.
And that's the only rhyme that he could come up with. That's the only rhyme that's the only rhyme you say on this show. You always you let her hear the story. You don't spit she left me lonely. You don't spit I pioneered this. You don't give nothing else.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true. And everybody could go back to the archives and hear it.
A bunch of them too.
You want to hear something else? The South Bronx, kill that noise.
I don't hear Juice Crew Law. I don't hear none of those things. Oh, But go on, let's go. Let's get to the grade. Let's go.
Shan, 7 for vocabulary, 9 for he got 9s for articulation, creativity, originality, and versatility. A 7 for voice, a 9 for records, an 8 for stage presence, a 9 for sticking to themes, and a 7 innovating rhythms. Overall grade for a B.
I'm surprised he put 7 for voice.
Oh no!
He says that was one of his weaknesses. He says that was one of his weaknesses. Shan has a very high pitched voice.
You know, that high pitched voice. You know, they talk about he got doorbells with real bitches singing the notes, huh?
There we go.
Oh, always bringing up the beef DVD. Oh my lord.
Oh man.
But you know, I could see why that was a weakness because what was going on at the time. This is where you're getting a lot of the deep vocal tone rappers coming in. And it was because of this particular era, deeper voices ruled. It kind of pushed Shan out. Even though his rhyme structure was a strength, Shan knows how to put raps together. That was his biggest strength.
You sure about that?
Yes, I am sure about that. And I'm not just saying off the records that you keep quoting on this show every single time. I'm talking about I pioneered this. If you listen to a song like I Pioneered This, he stays in the pocket and he goes off. Shan can rap. There's no question about it.
You agree with vocabulary of 7?
I understand it. And again, it goes with what you hear. Because let's look at a record. A name ring bells and makes rappers petro. God help your kid when I get upset, yo. The ball starts roll. Bid your fans farewell, because the chance of you winning is like snow in hell. Simple, effective at the same time. But vocab, it wasn't intricate wordplay. Why do you think they called LL the dictionary rapper? Because he was using words nobody ever used before.
And if you think about it, not a lot of people was using like vocabulary and a substance like that until like the Kanes and the Rakims came along.
Right. Vocabulary became a part of their technique. Like, how can I take this word and how can I put this word in here and make it rhyme? Instead of just putting the rhymes together, like when I mentioned iPod, the way I shine, I got splendor. I'm the real thing, not a pretender. You got the nerve to pop the fatal question. I'm taking time to make a small suggestion. Write a will for your family's conveniency. Rap I'll serve without mercy or leniency. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
It's like splendor, pretender, conveniency, leniency, relentless, senseless. He's just putting it boom, 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 boom. You see how that works? It says, okay, let me come up with a word and then I'll make it rhyme. There's no challenge to make it rhyme. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's what Kool Moe Dee is trying to say. Other than a guy like LL who came with Rock the Bells, do you know how many words rhyme together in Rock the Bells? That's the difference. Also, the pace that you're saying the words.
Yeah, because they had a certain pace for a lot of rappers back there. They always had that same style.
Yes.
Like you could call me and if I understand.
There you go.
It's like they had a party, like how would I say, a party starting type rhyme scheme. You know.
Exactly.
Even the beats were a little bit the same back then.
Now compare that to a Kane. Confuse, or lose, abuse, the crews to choose. The MC's wrong. They pay dues.
Shoot, that's the first time I ever heard someone say dramatic like he did.
See? So that's what that's. B.
How the hell you put someone you buckle bear?
That's Kane for you. I don't know if I would bump up it. I mean, he gave him a pretty high number for records, though.
Yeah, considering that Shan only had 3 albums.
He still made noise a bit.
And he did some other stuff in the 90s that people don't talk about.
And what was his last record besides the QB's Finest compilation thing?
Well, that's a funny one because according to MC Shan, they had to kidnap him and bring him to the studio.
Oh yeah, did he go back and say that?
He wasn't even going to do it. And he didn't even want to say the same rhyme. But these are the Queensbridge kids. This is the rhyme that they know. So they want their father to say it. Say the same rhyme. His last joint, believe it or not, was released in 2017. Bars Over BS.
Oh God!
But if we're judging
Wait,
1990,
oh yeah, that's right, because him and Karis went at it again. Oh boy,
and he won the rematch.
what, that Sprite commercial?
You know the one.
Well, moving on to other grades here in the 80s rappers report card. Rakim, vocabulary 10 for articulation, 10 for creativity, 9 for originality, 10 for voice, 10 for records, 7 for stage presence, 9 for sticking to themes, and 10 for innovating rhythms. Overall grade of 91 for an A. Another guy who I think should have scored higher than Kool Mo D. QG, start us off.
Rakim, to me, is the greatest rapper ever. The greatest. Because he influenced so many people. And when you ask people who is the standard, I think Rakim is the standard. I would have bumped up vocabulary all the way. I don't know why he gave him an 8. I would have gave him a 10 for vocab. I would have had Rakim an 8+. I would have had him an 8+.
I don't understand this either, because an 8 for Rakim or vocabulary.
Well, you know what? I'm being biased because the stage presence is Rakim's weakness.
That deserves a 7. I'm sorry.
That right there is the only issue with Ra, and it's not his fault, because according to the book, and he has Rakim ranked number 2 in the top 50. He says it's hard for him to translate live because the rhymes are not designed for you to sing along. They're designed to blow your mind. He's so lyrically gifted that it's not going to transcend in a performance.
Even in his videos, he don't transcend in his performance.
Right, because his main focus is the lyrics. And the lyrics are so good.
You see, he has a slow pace in his videos that he just walks, because he's just trying to stay focused with the lyrics.
He has to concentrate. He has to concentrate on the work. He can't jump around, run around, and do all that stuff on stage while he's trying to do Follow the Leader. You know how many words is it, Follow the Leader? That is one of the hardest songs to perform.
That is a very lengthy song, word-wise.
What? Can you imagine performing that on stage?
I hate to be the bad news, but 7 is unfortunately a deservable grade. He doesn't really have much stage presence. But vocabulary should be bumped up. I'm sorry.
I'm good with an A. I'm great with an A. Just the stage presence, only thing. Everything else, yeah.
Yeah, I will probably give him at least a 92 or 93.
What about versatility, though? He gave him an 8 for versatility, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I will put him as a whole 10 for versatility. But
because with Ra, what are we getting? Are we more focused on even though Ra tells an amazing storyteller. What kind of records are we getting from Ra? We're getting educational records. We're getting him showing off his skills. They're not commercial records. We appreciate Ra on his skills.
I wish Don't Sweat the Technique came out in the 80s. That probably would have changed it.
Right. Because we love Rakim based on his rhymes. That's the thing with him. His rhymes.
And Ryan wasn't cursing either.
Yeah.
Up until
he wasn't cursing.
Up until Know the Legends.
I mean, he'll throw in one here and there, but he can get away with it. What about you guys, man?
Waking them up. Waking them up.
What about you, Katie Bet? What about you, Katie Bet?
Well, I feel that Rakim, considering his work now, I'm not gonna lie and say that I know all of Rakim's discography. I've never listened to anything that Rakim has ever done past Eric B and Rakim. But from 88 to 92, like the Rakim's skills have shown, like you got songs like Follow the Leader and Microphone Fiend and the R, and I Know You Got Soul, and I Ain't No Joke, and My Melody, and Paid in Full, and Don't Sweat the Technique. And I'm just like, yo, how could you not grade this man higher than a 91? If anything, Rakim should be like a 97 at least, minimum.
Not with stage presence.
Yeah, stage presence is
the
a
only
problem.
Category. Stage, I know I've never seen the man perform live, and I've never gone out of my way to.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
He was
yes,
there.
You have.
He was there. The art of rap.
The art of rap.
Right. But that's for another story. Me and Mac enjoyed the show. I don't know about this guy.
the show was all right.
Oh God.
Oh God. Yo, for all people who are wondering why he's like this, because apparently EPMD upset him that they didn't quote his favorite line.
I freaking lost my voice rapping all them damn songs. I lost my voice was hoarse all night.
Even who was it? Raekwon and Ghost? Even I lost my voice with them.
Oh my God. What a night.
And they were louder than me.
What a night.
You know, I still wear that EPMD T-shirt that I bought at that concert.
That's great. That's good. Funny thing, you mentioned them. They're not up here either.
Word, they did start in the 80s. Well, late 80s, if anything.
Yeah, because, man, Kool Mo D is a hater. But anyway.
He's not a hater.
I just feel like Rakim's body of work, especially in the 80s, speaks for itself. Again, I don't know what his 90s out, because again, past Eric B and Rakim, I don't know anything about Rakim. And
well, you got the 18th letter, and you got what's that? The Master. Yeah.
I'm not
good. 18th letter was cool.
18. You know the thing about Rakim is it's just like he just didn't have the secret sauce anymore without Eric B. It's like CL Smooth without P Rock. It's not going to work.
Right.
Now, for me, on the other hand, I'll give Ra a pass.
Yeah, they should have did an album together. You got songs, but then he got with Aftermath, and then that fell through.
Oh God.
Well, I just feel like out of everybody on this list, Rakim should have been one of the highest, but higher than he is. But let's continue to move gears to notable names on this list. Run DMC. This was an interesting one. Run DMC, they got a 6 for vocabulary, a 9 for articulation. They got an 8 in creativity and originality. They got a 7 versatility. They got an 8 in voice. They have a 10 in records and stage presence, a 9 in sticking to themes, and a 7 for innovating rhythms. Overall score 82 for a B. And before we get into it, you know what I realized? There were no groups in the 90s report card. There are groups in the 80s.
That's true. That's true. You're totally right about that. I mean, T.O., you want to go first about Run DMC?
Why did they get a 7 for versatility? I mean, does the Aerosmith record don't count, or that was a controversial?
You know something?
You talking about Walk This Way?
Yeah, Walk This Way. Walk this way.
This is very, very hard. This is very, very hard. I mean, T, you can continue, but I get why he gave him the whole thing with the vocab. I get it. He actually lists that as a weakness, lyrical content. He said he never did much with the same rhyme skills. And it goes to show the theory you put out there, T.O., about the same rhyme. The dun, the dun, the bun, the rhyme, the bun, the bun. It's the same. It's the same. 2 years ago, a friend of mine asked me to say some MC rhyme. So I said this rhyme I'm about to say. The rhyme was definite. It went this way. Took a test to become an MC. You see how it works? How many times did we get the same style on different records?
And not to mention, they were kind of different in productions.
Yeah, it was different. It was very different. And in the book, he has run as number 32 out of the top 50.
I mean, Run is a pioneer, but vocabulary, I kind of can understand. Maybe a 7. But
that's why. I got a dog, a cat, a mouse, a rat, a fly he won't die, and a little gnat. It's simple.
That's why. That's why it was hard to keep the relevancy once Kane and Rakim came in the game and changed all that shit with the
That's
vocabulary.
what did it. That's what did it. It's the vocab. Prime example. And we already gave him a come on, son. It's three of us, but we're not the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I love him. I love Run DMC.
Come on, bro. You know better than that.
I love him to death. I love them. Those are my backyard boys. You know what I'm saying?
Alice in the house.
I mean,
do you agree with Innovative Rhythms with a 7?
It's like, and Candy Man, you could back this up,
sir.
because you actually have their 90s, right?
Yeah. Wait, you said I didn't hear you. What did you say?
You have their 90s work.
On DMC?
Yes.
The album that they've ever recorded.
So, talk to the people about the transition from how they rapped in the 80s to the 90s.
See, and it's very funny because you have King of Rock, Raising Hell, Tougher Than Leather, and Run DMC, the self-titled album, all in the 80s. Back From Hell came out, I noticed that style and subject matter got different. And then by the time Down with the King came out, I was like, wait a minute.
And you saw a
Totally
difference
different.
A total different sound.
Way different. Correct.
A total different change.
They went completely gangster to the point they even changed their look.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, that's correct. So,
go ahead.
No, I mean, as far as the B, I could understand it based on technical, lyrical skills. I mean, the 10s that they got, obviously the records, you still put those records on King of Rock and Rock Box and all that, you'll still lose your mind and go crazy. Stage presence, nobody could perform like those guys. Those guys are performers. They performed all the way from head to toe. The Adidas, the black hats, the black jackets, the black shirts. These guys are trendsetters, bro. All the way. True. Sticking to themes. Yeah, they did it. It's like the lowest they got was for the vocabulary and the versatility. And I mean, I get it, because what kind of records did we get from Run DMC? Thank you, Rick Rubin, for bringing in the rock riffs, but that became their signature. And then, like Candyman just touched on, when they got to the 90s, it changed a lot. They got more aggressive.
And can I make a point here?
Go.
And why he would dock them, because again, their later work, I don't think anything they did, or even Crown Royal, their 80s stuff.
Right.
I gotta give them more than a 7 for Innovating Rhythms, just off the strength of Walk This Way and My Adidas alone.
Are you judging it you're judging it off the song, or are you judging it how they rapped on it?
Both. Like, all right. Now, here's the thing about this report card. Kool Mod did not define what these things mean. So when you tell me Innovating Rhythms, I'm thinking, all right, rhythm, meaning the song thumps so much that I can't help myself but to dance or bob my head or sway back and forth. Run DMC in the 80s was bob your head, sway back and forth type music. Tell me, you hold on, wait. Tell me, on Walk This Way, and you find somebody when in the first 30 seconds of that record that don't start tapping their foot or bobbing their head. That's impossible.
That's just off the rhythm. That's just off the rhythm of the instrumental. That's off the rhythm of the instrumental.
But this is Innovating Rhythms. That song is full of rhythm. That song is original because we had never heard a rap record like that prior to all this.
He's going based off technique, rhyme technique. That's all he's judging it off, I feel. The total package, I get you. It works great together. talk this way. And funny enough, you mentioned that record. What they did was just Aerosmith. Well, what they did, they just took Aerosmith's verses and redid them.
Yeah.
Now that's true. You could knock that song for lyrics and they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do that record either.
No, they didn't. But thank God they did. Thank God they did do the record.
No.
People love that record. We love it. It's a legendary record.
And didn't they get criticized and backlash for that record?
Of course they did. Because the pioneers looked down on that. It's like, oh man, what the hell are they doing? Why are they doing that? They're killing it. But then look what it did. Look at the doors that it opened.
Yep.
Work like a charm.
Do either of you think Run DMC should be ranked higher than an 82?
Me personally, I would rank them higher. But like I said at the beginning, I understand why Kool Moe Dee has them in the B's.
I mean, me personally, I probably rank them barely higher than 82.
For impact alone.
Well, impact. If there was an impact category, that's already
Jesus.
a 10.
That's 100.
That's a 12. Shit, man.
But stuff rhymes, and it goes with what it goes with what T.O. was saying. You see the transition. They got away from that. After Run DMC, that's when the dictionary rapper came out. And then you got the K's and G rap. Now you're getting judged on how you rap. Now you're getting judged on your skills.
And that's the thing. When certain trends, like when certain eras come, you see how, like, let's just say, imagine someone like Rakim, he helped set that specific era with the Canes and stuff, and then you got a different style era, like the Jiggy era. You see Rakim coming into the Jiggy era. What the hell?
That's why we thank God for DMX.
Oh, hell yeah.
But that's another story.
Rest in peace to the dog.
All right.
So, yep.
Now, speaking of groups, this one got me really upset.
Oh, the Beastie Boys? The Beastie Boys?
Go.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, Candyman. Go off, Candyman, because I know you're one of the biggest Beastie Boy fans ever. Break this thing down.
I was surprised at this, too.
Go ahead, Candyman.
Before I start, can we get the sound effect, please?
You haven't noticed that it's a record when you have Alfred going on a rant twice on an episode. So he's back, this time on the Beastie Boys record. Enjoy.
The Beastie Boys. Now, this is some fucked up shit. Vocabulary, they got a 6. 7. 7. Personality 6. 6. In stage presence and sticking to themes. Actually, no, wait, whoa, I got this wrong. They got a 6 in originality, versatility, and voice. Records an 8 in stage presence. They got a 10, surprisingly, in sticking to themes, and a 6 in innovating rhythms for an overall score of 70. It's good for a C. Now,
all right, so break down each of them. Go ahead.
All right, now, first off, this whole report card is bullshit. Right?
I asked him to break down what's going on, and he just goes on again.
No, you asked me to break it down, so I'm breaking it down to you, goddamn.
But that's how you start. No, I'm talking about from a intellectual standpoint. Don't just say it's BS. Say what's wrong. Say what's wrong.
But he has to
go.
So.
Go ahead.
So now,
vocabulary 6.
Hold on, wait. Now, amongst the three of us, and even though shout outs to our man Rev, who's not here on this week, but I would say amongst the four of us on the Rap Lab, the point home that nobody out of the four of us knows the Beastie Boys better than I do. Correct?
Didn't I just say that? Oh.
I'm just making sure.
I just said that already. I said that. I asked you about the go ahead with the vocab and the articulate. There he goes again. Well, you know, I'm the one that has all the Beastie Boys. I didn't ask you that.
All right, Al. Come on, man. This is your time, man. This is your
moment. All you got to do is get to what's wrong with the report card with the Beasties. Go.
The most vocabulary. They didn't have the best vocabulary, but I'm not giving them a 6. I'd give them at least an 8.
An 8?
I don't know about that.
I don't know. 7.
Yeah,
no,
maybe
I'll
7.
give them a 7. We'll give them a 7 for argument's sake.
It's the truth. Listen to the records.
They really did have a strong vocabulary.
The articulation.
That's got to be higher.
Yeah, that I don't agree with.
The articulation has got to be a 9.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that I can knock them for that I agree with Kool Moe on their grade is their voice, because their voices are high pitched voices similar to MC Shan, and you know sometimes Beastie Boys, you know, with Brass Monkey.
Correct.
Monkey. Like, all right, like yeah, they sound like they're whining after a while.
Don't get me started with Hello Brooklyn.
What's wrong with Hello Brooklyn?
That voice. And it was worse than it was sampled on that terrible Jay-Z record.
Doing Originality? How did they get a 6 for Originality?
I don't know about that 6 either. That was wrong.
This I would have given them a 10 for Originality, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to them coming out, nobody sounded like them.
Nope.
Nobody looked like them.
And they damn sure didn't perform like them.
It was primarily black American. They came out. 3 Jewish kids from Brooklyn. Like them, nobody sounded like them.
Nope. Nobody was making Fight for Your Right to Party. Nobody was making records like that.
Oh, exactly.
And when you talk about Def Jam, you have to bring these boys up.
They did help save Def Jam.
They practically helped put the bricks in that building.
Creativity to me should be higher than the 7.
I agree with that. Should be higher. Yes. I think Modi didn't understand them.
I don't think so either.
They're legends.
Are they in the book?
No, none of the members are in the book. Groups are not in the book, just individual rappers.
Versatility of 6? No.
No. Here's my other issue though. Like the creativity, even though they changed their sound after their first album, Paul's Boutique, it's a completely different sound. But at the same time, still nobody else was sounding like them. And if I am also correct in this, not any mainstream white rappers or non-black rappers up until the time that they came out.
At the time when they were out, you know who else was out?
Who?
Third Base.
But they came out before Third Base, though.
They did come out before Third Base. However, they started to become direct rivals. It was like bing, bing. Once the Beastie Boys were already established, Third Base came, and they even got into a rap beef. Because
really?
The criminal lines on the records. There was a sub war between MC Search and the Beastie Boys where they pot shots at each other, and that's the thing. There's a difference now because there were white rappers as we just discussed with the Beastie Boys, MC Search and them, and Pete Nice. But now we have a difference here because what did the Beastie Boys have that Third Base did not?
What did they have that Third Base didn't?
Rick Rubin.
You're right.
Because Rick Rubin brought in all those extra sounds that made the Beastie Boys special.
Yep. Shout out to Rick Rubin, man.
And Intergalactic is one of my personal favorites.
Intergalactic.
I love that record. I love my sugar with coffee and cream. Talk about it.
But I think it's a travesty that the Beastie Boys are that it just could be a matter of not being understood.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't understand them.
He damn sure didn't.
He didn't understand them.
Well, here's one that I think interesting. Heavy D and the Boys. Vocabulary. 9 for articulation. Award for creativity, originality, versatility, voice, and records. Stage presence. A 9 for sticking to themes. And an 8 for innovating rhythms. All grade. 83. T.O., sorry. Woo, excuse me. T.O., talk to us about it.
I don't agree with 83. I might put him a little higher.
Okay, what would you change?
I will definitely change. And me personally, I might change originality because, this is a man who he could switch it. Well, he switches up, but no one raps like how Heavy D raps. He has different styles, in my opinion. When he gets on a record, he knows what to flow. So that also brings me that versatility should also be a little higher than 8.
Do you know what the issue is? He says his strength is his flow flavor. He's a verbal track enhancer, which is very true. He says his weakness is his lyrical simplicity. Sometimes his mastery is unrecognized because of the simplicity in the rhyme content. Do you agree with that?
Back then, yeah, maybe. I guess that's why vocabulary is a 7 to him.
And it goes with the records too, because what was the records he's doing? Overweight Lover.
Yep.
Number Love.
I mean, he did do well, that was like later on after the 80s. What was You Blind, baby, you blind for a fact.
It's like with Heavy was
more catering to the women.
Right. What we saw was what we got with Hev. And that's not his fault because Hev is who he is. He's a smooth, big teddy bear. He's a smooth cat that dressed nice, that dance good, and he can rap to you. You know what I mean? He's a Mac. He can Mac the ladies with his words and everything like that.
Someone in my job called him the rap version of Gerald Levert.
Yes, that's a perfect comparison.
Never thought of it like that.
Rest in peace to both of them. Oh, God.
Who you think helped Biggie out
Heavy.
with his look? Heavy was like his teacher. He's like, yo, man, you're a big dude. How do you stand out? You got to do this. You got to add this to your game. You're great, but putting this here, dress up. You know what I mean? And if you look at it, when Heavy came out, all these guys were different. You know what I mean? Even though Kane is a very snazzy dresser himself. But a lot of the guys wasn't doing that. They was wearing the baggy clothes, the jewelry, and everything. That look at Heavy. He got on a dress shirt, dress pants, dress shoes. What?
And dancing.
Cool.
And
what?
Dancing.
Fly. You know what I'm saying? Heavy D was fly with it. Man.
My man has swagger.
And
what's up?
This is gonna surprise y'all, but I really can't comment too much because I haven't heard much of Heavy D in my day.
Understandable. I mean, I don't have a problem with the B. I don't have a problem with the B because with Heavy D and the Boys, what did we just say? Look at the records that he was coming out with. Heavy D wasn't giving us hard, complex rhyme. Right. He was giving us that. Come on. He's on a Soul For Real song. You're not gonna hear, but this is my point. You're not gonna hear KRS on a Soul For Real song.
Nope.
No.
You're not gonna hear who can transition well on them records other than Heavy at the time.
He was on the Monifa track, but didn't he
Heavy D was like the Be All End All. He's on a Michael Jackson record.
Jam. Dun.
He's on a Janet Jackson record.
Oh, a lot of people forget that.
Heavy D in transition. He's on a Super Cat record. Do you see how many people Heavy worked with from different genres of music?
Not to forget the whole thing with Pac, Biggie, and Pooba. That track.
That's what makes Heavy D so special. He could appear on anything.
We got our own
that's
thing.
That's the transition.
I still can't do that.
No. Come on, Mac. Don't do that.
Okay, Chris, QG, can you do it?
We got our own thing. Diddly, 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 dee. Simple.
Yeah, but he did it too fast.
But as far as the letters go, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, the 7s, I get it. I understand it, and I'm cool with it. At least he got a B. At least he got a B. He deserves that. Heavy is one of those guys.
Yeah, I'll probably notch an 83 to maybe 84, 85, but that's just it. But stage presence, forget it.
Man, he was something else up there on that stage, bro.
Oh, yeah.
So I know if we sat here and did the whole list, we'd be sitting here talking all night. However,
facts.
That we'll do, and then we'll do what we did in the 90s. We'll do one more, and then the three of us will go around the room and pick one that wasn't brought up yet. But this was a shocker. Jeff and the Fresh Prince. 8 for vocab, 9 for articulation, a 10 for creativity and originality, 9 for versatility, 8 for voice, 8 for records, 10 for stage presence, 9 for sticking to themes, and 7 for innovating rhythms. They get an 88 B+ overall grade. May I take this one first?
Go.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody who has all the records.
Hey, you see what I'm talking about?
Probably.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're not the only one that has all the records. I got the records, too. But I'm not going to jump out and say, as somebody that got all the records. Would you just get to the report card?
They should call me Professor Candyman, but that's
oh, man.
I gotta disagree with innovating rhythms. I think you should actually get a 9 for innovating rhythms. I tell you
why. Why? Go ahead.
With records like Boom Shake the Room and Summertime, you're gonna only give them a 7?
I think I know why he did that. Because there were other people before Will that were doing that.
Unfortunately,
he's going off influence.
I'm interested in the strengths and weaknesses on this one.
I could tell you about Will.
Okay.
Well, for one, he ranked him number 23 out of the top 50 in the book.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Now, he said, here's the thing. His strength, his acting. And I get it, because on the songs, he acted out the character on the song. If you guys understand that. Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble, what does he sound like to you? He sounds like a teenager.
Teenager.
Right. Parents Just Don't Understand. He sounds just like the kid that's saying his parents just don't understand.
Don't forget
A Nightmare on My Street.
What was the record? I think I could beat Mike Tyson.
Yes, you actually said
that. That's the only one I can't really get down with.
What?
Oh, you bugging.
This song is fantastic. That's one of the funniest songs I ever heard. And it's great. But you know what his weakness is?
What?
His acting.
I thought that was his strength.
Wait,
he says he gave it for both. He said his strength. He says his strength is his weakness. Sometimes his energy doesn't connect with the listener because it doesn't feel sincere. It comes off like he's playing a role as opposed to coming from his heart. I understand it. We didn't get to know him as far as who he was as a man inside until he dropped his solo records.
Now that part I think I would have to agree with Kumbo Dion, which is funny. I like how he played into that.
I get that part. I understand it.
Wait, QG, what was that record? Ladies, what do you go? Ooh, ah. I'm sorry if I
That's
messed it up,
that's
but
that's actually from Boom Boom Show.
oh yeah, it was. It's been a long time since I heard that record.
Ladies, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to Oh, I love the guy, man. But I mean, Candyman, continue. Sorry to interrupt you, but continue.
I mean, that's the only knock that's the only thing I would change on them. Everything else I agree with.
So you agree with the B plus?
A 9 for voice because Will Smith has a very distinctive voice and he's not
I agree
hard
with
to
that. I agree with that.
But other than that, I'm cool, man.
Yeah. Everything here looks good. I mean, as far vocabulary, like Will's vocabulary was good. He says this is unique because Will has an incredible vocabulary. He doesn't choose to use it within rap. He'll sprinkle it here and then, but he's not one of those guys that will hit you with a bunch of high level vocabulary words back to back, which is understandable. Articulation, oh yeah. Creativity, hell yeah. Look at all the storytelling raps that Will was able to come up with. It was different. Creativity, hell yeah. Come on. I mean, look at the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme. If that's not creative, I don't know what is. Especially the anthems he created. Will is also the king of soundtracks, and Mac knows what I'm talking about.
No, you're right. Wild Wild West, Men in Black.
Men in Black, come on. He knocks him out the park with those, man. He stars in it, and he does the theme song for it.
Yep, he does. Men in Black was one of them. Yep, Wild Wild West. And if it has a theme, he knows he could bust it out with a soundtrack.
And you know what? And
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Men in Black had 2 Will Smith songs.
It did. It also had Just Cruising.
Shout out to Tashina Arnold.
Yes, she was singing. She was on the record. Stage presence is beautiful because Will is an excellent performer.
Yes, he is.
Excellent performer. Excellent. He's energetic. He's all over the place. I mean, the lowest they got here, obviously, as you touched on, Candyman, was the innovating rhythms. And I get it because of the song like Brand New Funk. Look at how he's rapping on Brand New Funk. It's new. It's not of the ordinary. It's very extraordinary. Like other rappers did that before he did it. Yeah. So did Will do anything game changing as far as a rhyme, in your opinion, Candyman?
No, he wasn't the most lyrically diverse or skilled rapper out there. I give him that. Like if Will Smith would have entered a battle, he'd get slaughtered. Kool Mo D could slaughter that man. So
I don't know why you're using Kool Mo D as a stepping stone like Kool Mo D didn't battle anybody. I don't know why you're doing that.
Starsky would probably be the only competitive battle Will Smith.
Here we go.
Have, but
Will Smith will destroy Master P Monday through Sunday, twice on Sundays. He would cook that boy.
He would not.
He would kill Master P in a battle. Will Smith would eat that boy for lunch. He will eat him and Silk the Shocker for lunch.
Man, Will Smith would beat him so bad it's like he's preaching him to death and then revive him to preaching to death again.
And you know why? He's a nice guy.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Tonight, but wrap up.
Obviously, you never heard the diss track. He's a nice guy, Katie Bear. So stop talking.
Go around the room. Pick one name. Critique on this report card that we haven't talked about, and we'll start off with you, T.O.
Public PE.
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. Some of these grades are kind of harsh. 80 should be higher. I don't know why. And I'm gonna start with stage presence. You got Flavor Flav. That's like one of the biggest energetic performers you got to help with the group.
Correct.
How the hell you get a 7? That don't mean Chuck D is a slouch on stage presence because he's got a good stage presence too. But you got the energetic Flavor Flav. That'll make sense.
Flavor Flav is pretty much a human mascot.
Yes.
Voice should get a 20. I don't know why he gave him a 9 instead of a 10.
His voice is so powerful.
God.
And Flavor Flav is recognizable.
That's a fact.
Vocabulary.
Wait, hold on. I have one critique though about voice because the Enemy record, Chuck D and Flavor Flav's voices stand out. Professor Griff and Terminator X and the rest of them though.
Yeah.
non-distinct. And if he's judging them as a group, I get that.
Right.
Yeah, because you know, like you said, Candyman, you touched it. The standout ones are Chuck and Flav.
Right. They're the frontmen.
Vocabulary, I mean, as a group, Chuck was the only one talking.
He gave him a 7. I don't know.
I would probably notch it up to an 8 or 9 because remember, this is Public Enemy as a group. So if Chuck D's the only one talking, like the lyrical one, you don't really hear much vocabulary of Flavor Flav, though.
Yeah. And Chuck is in the book.
And Chuck is in the book. So I probably would give that an 8 or 9, maybe. Articulation, I could understand. Creativity, I mean, maybe a 9. Originality, I could understand a 9 because you know they were coming with the political records.
That was their whole MO.
That was the whole MO. So versatility. You go, Al. What happened?
Now, I was gonna say, other than NWA, nobody was hitting with political records at the time.
Yep. And it was it was rare moments because you had one political from the West Coast, you had a political team from the East Coast, so it was trying to make noise. But other than that, I might agree with the rest of the grades. Innovative Rhythms a 7? I don't know.
You think that has to do with the offbeat flow of Chuck D?
He does go offbeat sometimes, but rare times.
Because his vocal projection is where his power is. He's hitting you hard with how he's saying the words. It's like an atomic bomb going off. Like there's no dry spot.
But you know what the thing
is? I got a letter from the government the other day. I read it. I said there's a reason why he's saying it like that. Instead of, I got a letter from the government. It's not going to hit you as hard as if he's just yelling it.
And then there's sometimes he does have a different pace of flow when he wants to. Sometimes it goes slow. Sometimes it's like, and sometimes it doesn't really fit with certain beats. How you think you can hear it, you know?
Right.
But 80, nah, that should be at least a good 86 or 87. I don't know about that.
All right, what about you, QG?
82 low.
Go ahead, Theo.
No, that's it. 82 low.
I'm kind of torn here because I really wanted to talk about this other group, but I'm gonna go with my boys. I'm gonna go with the Fat Boys.
Boys. I
love them. I love them. Those are my guys, man. Shout out to Sparky D and Buffy the Beatbox. Rest in peace, man. And of course we just lost Prince Sparky.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
What's that? Kool Rockski?
Yeah.
Kool Rock is the only one. Shout out to Kool Rock, man. Shout out to Sparky D too. I made a mistake there. Sparky D battled Roxanne. I get the names mixed up. But the Fat Boys, vocabulary, 6. I get it. Because again, what did they talk about? All you can eat and, rap. They were fat and they were rapping about food and, they made the fun records and the soundtrack records like Freddy Krueger and everything like that. But articulation, the voices, especially when Buffy's on that beatbox, that when you hear that, it's him. The creativity, All You Can Eat is a creative record. And in fact, me and Candyman kind of brought that record back when we was at the Originality, the grade is good. It's B's, Innovating rhythms, they were rhyming like the people that they were influenced by. They were influenced by Run DMC and Curtis Blow, so they brought that. Sticking to themes, what did I just tell you? They were fat, they were bored, they rapped about eating food and everything. So stage presence, there's some big dudes. When they get up there, they rhyming and they can get your attention. They got records. You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised that he scored them pretty high on some of this stuff. But I'm very happy that he gave them some due. But I think it's on point. It's a strong beat. Shout out to the Fat Boys. Rest in peace to all the members that we just mentioned. But I love those guys, man.
And if I had to pick one, I'm going with Biz Markie.
All right. Nobody beats the
Which Mo D gets an F for spelling his name wrong.
Bismarck.
Bismarck.
Like Otto von Bismarck.
Well, he could have wrote his name. He just wrote it too. He just ran out of space.
I guess he shortened it. But go, Candyman. Talk about Bismarcky.
I agree, and I'm going to keep this short, but I agree with every grade that Bismarcky was given. He got a 7 for vocabulary, for articulation, 9 for creativity, 8 for originality, 8 for versatility and voice. He got a 9 for records, 9 for stage presence, 9 for sticking to themes, and 9 for innovating rhythms. The only two things I would have changed, I would have gave him a 9 for articulation, and I would have gave him a 9 for origin. I would actually give him a 10 for originality.
I agree.
I would have gave him at least a 9 for versatility.
Who makes a song about boogers?
Exactly.
It's not even about boogers, but when you talk about
I know. Yeah.
When you talk about articulation, is how clear does his voice come across? Bismarcky I never had an issue understanding Biz.
Exactly.
Also,
she got the fingers.
Also, creativity. He's the clown prince of hip hop. There hasn't been one before or after him.
I agree.
Correct.
And then this is a guy, like you said, he made a record about picking boogers. He was on an album cover with half his hair braided and the other half out. He was a guy who could beatbox, and he was a guy who didn't take anything serious. Like if hip hop was full of gimmicks, he'd have one of the more unique ones.
I mean, Just a Friend is aged very well.
Just a Friend is still one of those relevant records.
That's a fact.
You know how many shorties all of us have had throughout the course of time that we wish that was just a friend, that we wish was more than a friend. So
you got what I need.
And shout out to the singer Mario, because he helped redo his version in 2002. And Biz was in the video.
And not even that. I never stepped foot in the Albee Square Mall, but I feel like I have.
Oh, there you go. That's memories.
He's loved by nobody has anything bad to ever say about Biz.
Nope.
First of all, if you got a beef with Bismarck, you deserve to be. Never mind.
Yeah, something's wrong with you. He's one of the most fun-loving people in the world. There would be no Kane. That's for damn sure. There would be no Kane. And then there were people that still sampled him and still had him on records. He was on the Girls record with Jay-Z.
Yep. He was one of the additional vocals besides Q-Tip and Slick.
Snoop Dogg did his own version of Vapors in tribute.
Yep, that he did.
Let's not forget, about a decade later, him and Will Smith had a beatbox showdown in Men in Black too.
And he was Roxanne Shantae's beatboxer. He used to make his rounds with Roxanne Shante all the time. He gets all the credit in the world for being that. He was the glue of the Juice Crew.
Yep.
My opinion. He was the glue.
If anything went wrong, Biz had to be the peacemaker of the whole thing.
Yep. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our 80s report card episode. G, would you mind posting the 80s report card on the IG for the people to see so that they don't think we're making these grades up?
I will definitely post the 80s report card for everybody out there to check it out. And tell us what you guys think. Tell us what you think of the grades. Tell us what you think of our criteria and how we broke it down. Give us your thoughts. Comment it everywhere.
Yep, and shout outs to our guy, Rev Barber, who couldn't be here today, but he'll be back. So
yes, sir.
Yep, shout out to Rev.
Keep your head up. We riding with you. Stop quoting Big Suge. But next week, own Rap Lab report cards. That's gonna be interesting.
Oh God.
Names that were
eligible for USAA.
Yep, exactly. Names that we it's gonna be good though. We got some good names, especially you, Tio.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, this is gonna be special, but it's been another episode of the Lab, and we out.
Welcome to the Rap Lab. Welcome to the Rap Lab. Welcome to the Rap Lab.